Hello and welcome to another edition of your favorite health program, NAFDAC and Your Health. This is where you get informed about NAFDAC's daily endeavor in safeguarding health. My name is Tosin Omolaja. Since 2017, when Professor Mojisola Adeyeye took over the helms of affairs at NAFDAC, our primary objective for the agency has been to reform and transform it into a 21st-century regulatory agency with global reckoning.
When I got here and I met QMS for lab and QMS for one or two other directorates, I said that's not QMS. QMS is agency-wide. Lab cannot have QMS and VMAP doesn't have QMS, or registration doesn't have QMS, or doesn't understand what it is. They are not on the same page. So anyhow, we started, and when we have almost, and we cascaded it to the states, it was all cascaded to the states. They said, oh, let's get our certification for the 3. I said, no, we cannot get certification for 3. It's agency-wide, and many people didn't understand that it has to be agency-wide. I said, it is not something you learn and check. I passed. No, it is a culture that we should marinate ourselves in it longer, so that all the other directorates that are not yet at the same level will come to the same level. And that is why it took us about 5 or 6 months more, and we got our certification.
To achieve this, she and her team had to embark on a long and painstaking overhaul process to infuse quality management systems within the agency and attain the World Health Organization global benchmarking standard.
WHO global benchmarking, it is excruciatingly detailed. You cannot assume anything about whatever is going on. And for both QMS and global benchmarking, the goal is to use international best practices. So it's not like Nigeria is going to be different from Canada. Nigeria is going to be different from Japan. No. Because when we export, we are supposed to use international standards. And if we use Nigerian standards, our products will be burnt or destroyed over there. So that is essentially what both QMS and global benchmarking is. But for global benchmarking, it is very, very detailed. It is a process that will enable WHO to know the maturity level of regulatory agencies all over the world. And the maturity levels will affect or impact the industry. For example, we cannot manufacture vaccines in Nigeria, despite the fact that we had vaccine research and even manufacturing, not for product, not for certification. We've been doing that for decades. But we have not translated it into product. Without NAFDAC being level 3, we cannot manufacture vaccines. Without NAFDAC being level 4, it will be hard for our regular products in the drug manufacturing sector to be exported. So this is tied to, of course, using international best practices, but it's tied to trade. Because we have to be relevant in the world. Aside, of course, meeting our own consumption within the country, fine. It improves the health of our people, but it's not only that too. It is, can you export this and use international best practices so that others can buy? So that is why QMS and global benchmarking is extremely important.
NAFDAC's vigorous push to attain global standards in quality management systems meant that it implemented thorough internal benchmarking based on WHO assessment tools. This internal assessment was done 3 times to perfect the system. At the end of this, earned it the International Organization of the Standardization Certificate ISO 9001. This certification affirms that the agency has built a framework that guarantees that it is able to consistently meet the quality and regulatory standards of all its stakeholders at a global level. This upgrade traverses the entire agency operations from registration to laboratory and even investigations and enforcement. NAFDAC laboratories have received tremendous boost in this time, making it globally recognized.
NAFDAC has 7 labs. 5 of them are now accredited, including the Vaccines and Biologics Lab, accredited with ISO 17025. So aside from the ISO certification, you have to have ISO compliant equipment. Because you cannot say you have ISO certified lab and be using equipment that is 15 years old. Because all equipment now are being manufactured to be ISO certified. Meaning that the ease of accumulating data, the ease of analyzing data, the ease of retrieving data, the ease of securing data are much better now than what it was 15 years because it's now ISO compliant. Nigeria is also part of the global community where peace is advocated. So we have now chemical equipment that we can use, or we're going to procure equipment that we can use for prohibition of chemical weapons. The government is supporting us on that because our lab was chosen as one of the labs. NAFDAC lab was chosen as one of the labs that can handle such pieces of equipment. The good thing is that equipment that can be used for prohibition of chemical weapons can also be used in testing food. So our lab is very central. Our lab extremely important in order to ensure that quality of whatever we are regulating is maintained.
The Central Drug Control Laboratory here is one of the 7 laboratories owned by NAFDAC. We can conveniently say that Central Drug Control Laboratory here at Yaba is the flagship of laboratory testing for medicines for NAFDAC in Nigeria. The lab has ISO 17025 accreditation in 17 testing scopes. These 17 testing scopes where we have accreditation confers on us that we have the technical ability, then we have the personnel and the management requirement to make sure that we test medicines according to international standards, and any results released from this laboratory can be, we can vouch for it. The result is true, genuine, authentic, and cannot be faulted anywhere all over the world.
NAFDAC's food laboratories have also received similar upgrades to ensure that all foods tested and made available to the Nigerian public meet the global threshold of safety and wholesomeness.
In the past, we are accredited on 7 parameters: mycotoxin, non-nutritive sweeteners, pesticide residue. We have been accredited also in moisture and ash, in meat and meat products, cereal and cereal products. Fortunately, recently, we just accredited about 25 parameters, and we were successful in the accreditation. And this accreditation also was on the new version of ISO 17025 2017, because that is the current version for competency in laboratory testing.
Let's go on a short break. Stay with us.
Come inside, oh! Tayo. Abeg, come sit down. Sit down.
Wey Mama Junior and Junior now.
We there, yeah,
Mama the mama.
Hey, Junior, quick. Come go buy alcohol for your uncle for Auntie Caro shop.
No. Go sit down, Junior. No now, bros. What do you want to do so? You don't know, say, if you dey send Junior to go buy alcohol like this, small time now, AI go begin enter am. Himself go want to drink alcohol for this in small pikin age. Ha! Bros, abeg, give me the money, make I go buy am by myself.
I been no know.
Wait, I tell you before.
NAFDAC talk say alcohol na no for pikin wey never reach 18 years.
I no go send am that kind of message again.
Yes, so my people. Na me, you, parents, guardians, marketers, and even retailers sef suppose stop small pikin dem make dem no dey drink alcohol for this week community o. Join us today. Na Distillers and Blenders Association of Nigeria, NAFDAC, and Federal Ministry of Health bring una this message o.
Welcome back. The hallmark of the 21st century is the ability to getting things done remotely. The internet and their ability to do things electronically has enabled NAFDAC improve its service delivery in quantum leaps, making it a technology-driven agency and places it at par with other global organizations.
We're in the digital age, and in line with the aspirations of all well-meaning global players, there is need to make sure that our processes are transparent, easy for applicants, easy for clients, and to ease the regulatory burden. We started the NAFDAC Automated Product Administration and Monitoring System, which is the Napalms, which provides a digital handshake and allows for electronic or e-registration, very simplistically put. So it allows applicants to submit their applications for registration online. It allows us as regulators to process those applications, and it allows for the applicants to monitor the progress of their applications within the system. We started off with a pilot deployment a couple of years ago, and we have moved to advance that system, and we now call it the Napalms version 2, where we have taken the learnings from our pilot deployment and our initial deployment and updated and upgraded the system where it is more user-friendly, it allows for more interfaces, and it makes it easier for applicants to understand and to progress their applications. Being a very innovative application, it's actually the first application of its kind used by a regulatory authority in Africa. It reduces the need for a personal interface, allows for transparency, and allows for monitoring and tracking of applications. So we are moving from a manual or from a previously manual submission, paper submission mode to a digital submission mode to ensure that all applications for registration that come into the agency will be fully digital and allow for us to be more efficient, more transparent, and to make it easier for applicants to get their products to market and for us to process those applications in a timely and transparent fashion. It also has linkages that allow for the handshake with the remitter platform, which allows for payments to be made online and to align with the government policies as relates to payment processing for government transactions.
NAFDAC's electronic processes covers quite a vast space, not just registration of products, but also in securing imports and export permits.
E-permit actually is the first electronic process that the agency deployed, and this was deployed 2 years ago, and it's been very, very, very successful. Even our various clients have come first to the ease of doing business, the way it supported them, they are processing their applications and then having the approvals on time.
There is a requirement for submissions of samples which go to the lab. We have removed the need for them to come here to submit samples. You can go to any courier company you want, get a way bill, you have the NAFDAC address, and we have a permit that would have been sent to you by email to tell you the number of samples to bring. You attach a copy of that and you send it in. You go back on the portal and you provide a copy of the way bill as evidence that you have sent in. And so it prompts our system, and then we will be expecting it. It comes in just like any other courier company sends in packages. We will receive it and process accordingly.
Before a client or any of our sister directorates brings a product to the laboratory, they submit their manifest electronically. Once we release the manifest, we just log the manifest onto what is called Laboratory Information Management System, LIMS. They save it and sign off, prepare the sample for analysis, you put it in the equipment, you log in all the data on the equipment recognizes it and starts the analysis, and you come back the following morning to come and pick your chromatogram and you get your results. One other significant attribute of this cutting-edge equipment is data integrity. And what do I mean by data integrity? Every analyst has its own password. And not only that, any activity you carry out, if you log in at 2 o'clock, it will be recorded that you log in at 2 o'clock. If you finish your work at 6 p.m., the equipment automatically records it that you finish at 6 p.m. And every work you have done within that time frame is permanently saved.
Same goes with the inspection. Once GMP inspections are done for products, either in Nigeria or anywhere in the world, the inspection reports are accessible through the electronic format to us in Napalms. All those things come together before pronouncement is made on the status of a product.
Intelligence and indeed technology has also been deployed in tracking shipments and identifying fake drugs.
We have strengthened our intelligence at the seaports. One of such is the integration of NAFDAC on the platform, on the trade portal platform fully, which now makes us to see some of the consignments that are coming. And the Intelligence and Monitoring Unit of Port Inspection Directorate is a small unit, but they do so much work there where they could actually track a departure of a container from anywhere in the world, and they monitor it up till when it gets to Nigeria. One interesting thing that we have discovered actually is the fact that when they are leaving the shore of the country where the consignments are being shipped, they will do correct manifestation, correct bill of lading. But when they arrive in Nigeria, you see that what was manifested as pharmaceuticals from the country of departure will now come to Nigeria and will become something else like computer accessories, plumbing materials, or something very funny, or general merchandise.
Through this tracking, we're able to monitor the movement of those containers, and when we realized that even the importers had gained information that we were monitoring them, we're able to see how they went about transloading those containers on the IC from ship to ship in order to change the identifying vessel that should bring the container into Nigeria. And through this, we're able to trace those containers from Mumbai in India to Singapore to Cotonou in Benin Republic. And because of our relationship with the government in Benin Republic, we're able to intercept some of such containers. And overall, we are successfully intercepted in the past 2 years over 80 containers of tramadol. And like it was relayed and disseminated publicly sometime last year, the street value was in excess of 300 billion naira.
The TrueScan device is another piece of tech that the agency has deployed to do on-the-spot tests of drugs and products in assessing their quality and true nature.
So there were things that we needed to get, like handheld device that can detect fake medicine or substandard medicine, but we were not able to purchase those. But now we are purchasing it, and Nigeria will be one of the countries, if not the only country, that will get as many. Why? Because the health of our people is of premium to NAFDAC. And this TrueScan now, we had about 6 or 7 15 years ago. But that technology is already obsolete, and it was qualitative at that point. But now it is quantitative. So we don't have to bring, even if we suspect something is there before, we still have to take it to the lab. But now it is quantitative. If it is 10% paracetamol, it will say 10% paracetamol, instead of saying paracetamol is lower. But now it is quantitative. So that will also reduce the number of analysis that we'll be doing in the lab. That's risk-based categorization. Because the part of our own GBT, WHO GBT, is that we analyze so many per year, over 10, 12,000. And with the capacity, so now with the handheld device, it's very, very costly. With the handheld device, we can reduce the number of samples that will go into the lab and focus more on post-marketing samples and enforcement samples.
Joining over 170 countries around the world that use mobile applications in reporting adverse drug reactions, the Med Safety app is NAFDAC's latest infusion of technology to its service delivery.
That reporting is what we have experienced in NAFDAC, but what our emphasis right now is to do active pharmacovigilance, to really step it up. NAFDAC is adopting the use of the Med Safety app because NAFDAC has been part and parcel of the international drug monitoring body that WHO set up.
The Med Safety app is used to report all adverse drug reactions that can be encountered with the use of any medication. Then secondly, it can also be used to track all safety information about medicinal products. It can also be used to build a watch list of medications you are interested in. For example, if I'm a diabetic patient or if I'm a hypertensive patient and I'm taking some anti-hypertensive or anti-diabetic medication, I can use the Med Safety app to create a watch list of this medication so that I can periodically get safety information about that drug, and which also determine my case for continued use of this medication, or to talk to my healthcare provider for a review of my medication. Then lastly, the Med Safety app can be used to access all adverse drug reactions that have been reported on a medication based on what we call the ATC classification. That is the anatomical, therapeutic, and chemical classification from the WHO database. What are the key features of the Med Safety app? First, it is available for download for free. You can freely download the Med Safety app from the Google Play Store if you are using an Android device, or from the Apple Store if you are using an iOS system. You can log into the app without internet connectivity, create and save reports without internet connection. The only time you need an internet connection is when you are about to submit this report to the National Pharmacovigilance Center. Thirdly, you can use the app to read about news feed from NAFDAC, news feeds related to product alerts, notices, any safety information that NAFDAC is passing out to the general public. We can use this app to access that information and read about it. Then of course, this app has been personalized for the country. As soon as you download this app, you see the Nigerian flag and the NAFDAC logo, which means it is personalized for use in Nigeria alongside our color scheme. You can create reports using this app and save it and transmit it later to NAFDAC once internet connectivity is re-established.
This is where we say goodbye on today's edition of the program, NAFDAC and Your Health. Join us again, same time, same station, next week for another insightful, fresh edition. Remember, safeguarding the health of the nation is our collective responsibility. So report fake and unwholesome food and drugs and activities that create them in your area. You may have questions, comments, or inquiries. Kindly contact us. You can reach NAFDAC via toll-free numbers. For inquiries, call 0700 162 3322. For complaints, call 0800 162 3322. You may also email NAFDAC at nafdac.gov.ng. If you have complaints about any form of misconduct, you can reach the Reforms Unit via email, reforms@nafdac.gov.ng, or call the Reforms hotlines on 0909 763 0506 or 0909 763 0507. NAFDAC, customer focused, agency minded. Till next week, stay safe.